You just be true to yourself, be in your integrity, speak your truth, and whatever the result is the result, and then you just digest that.
That's Phyllis Leavitt, a seasoned psychotherapist, here to share two of her favorite journaling techniques that can amplify mindfulness, inner peace, and resilience. Her first technique is about connecting to your innate sense of reason and rationality by journaling with your non-dominant hand.
If you're right-handed, you write in your journal with the opposite hand. And the idea is, on a brain level, it connects to beneath your rational mind. Your rational mind is connected to your dominant hand.
Phyllis's second technique is about journaling from the eyes of your inner child to garner new personal insights and aha moments.
You can just sort of ask your inner child to speak to you. What I need to hear.
Phyllis believes journaling is accessible to everyone, offering a safe space to find reason and truth in your life so you can live more authentically and in your true power.
Journaling can be an amazing connection to your full self, and anybody can do that.
I'm Reverend Eugen Bond. For more information on the Enough-ism podcast and to join our virtual journaling and meditation meetup group, now nearly 1,500 members strong around the world, visit IamEnough-ism.com. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
I always knew I wanted to be a writer when I was a kid, so that was my thing. But I kept journals for years, and keeping a journal and having that safe place where you really give yourself permission to say the truth. You know, the truth of your feelings, the truth of your fears, the truth of your perceptions, the truth of your longings, the truth of, whatever it is. Like, I felt so great today because I remember writing this in one of my journals. I had some friends that I wrote poetry with many years ago, and I kind of dared to share something more personal in that group. And it was so great because I felt so received. And I remember writing that in my journal, and it stuck with me. But I also wrote, I feel lost and I feel confused and I'm praying for help. And, I had an interaction with so-and-so and I felt so bad about myself afterwards. Journaling can be an amazing connection to your full self. And anybody can do that. And I've recommended that to many, many, many people. And there's actually a technique that I did myself early on in my own work that I've recommended to many people. And I think it has some great merit. There's two journaling techniques that are very powerful that I've done both of. And one of them is that if you're right-handed, you write in your journal with the opposite hand. And the idea is, on a brain level, it connects to beneath your rational mind. Your rational mind is connected to your dominant hand, and your more unconscious associations and connections are connected to your non-dominant hand. And so there's a wonderful technique of writing in your journal with your non-dominant hand, and it's a way of exploring very specifically. You can just sort of ask your inner child to speak to you. What I need to hear. Or you can just write with your non-dominant hand and see what comes up. But invariably, people do access a different connection to themselves than if they were writing with their dominant hand. The other journaling technique that is very powerful, that a friend just told me about many, many years ago, is writing with your dominant hand and just asking your higher self to speak to you. Asking your essence to speak to you. So you might ask a question about your life, like, I had such a painful interaction with my so-and-so friend, and I'd like to have a different perspective on it. And what would my higher self tell me about that? If you really just let yourself sink into that and open, and it might take some practice, invariably you hear something that you would not have told yourself. And it's always healing. It's always a better perspective. It's like, I remember doing that with someone who I really wanted to be closer to this person, and I just felt like they didn't want to be close to me. And I wrote about it, and the answer was so profound and so helpful. It was like, this person's doing the best they can. It's just what is. And what you can learn from that is to hold on to your essential self and not be diminished by the fact that this person does not want to be close to you. It doesn't speak to your essence. It doesn't speak to your worth. It doesn't speak to your lovability. It doesn't speak to anything. And this was someone that I needed to interact with. It wasn't someone I could just walk away and say, I have no relationship with you if I wanted to. What the other part of the message was that was so powerful was like, you just keep having your voice. You just be true to yourself, be in your integrity, speak your truth, and whatever the result is the result. And then you just digest that. And that's been unbelievably powerful for me. So that just came out of a writing session, you know.
That's beautiful. And journaling is something that I know the Enough-ism listeners will love, because we have a journaling group online with maybe
Oh,
1,300 people.
wow.
Yeah, and what we do is it's a guided meditation and you journal throughout. There's prompts. But the idea is that you kind of get yourself into this flow state, and then you're
Right.
writing down your ideas. And then later you look at what you've written maybe that evening or the next day, and maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. If you're writing about what is bringing you pain or your
Right.
fears, maybe the next day you look at it and you say, well, this is stupid. I'm writing about, what I'm so angry about. But that's nothing. That doesn't even matter. And it gives you clarity.
Yeah.
And I think that's really powerful. It's just kind of getting into that flow state and then kind of letting go with it and saying, okay, tell me what I need to know. Universe, higher power, whatever it is, come
Yeah.
through me. And what do I need to hear right now? And then you write it down and you're capturing it. And
Right.
it's beautiful. It's powerful.
It's powerful and it comes from you, and I think that's the most powerful place. And I think that's what meditation and mindfulness practice and good inner work in a therapeutic setting, for instance, or other healing work, the energy work that people do, it puts you in touch with the deepest guiding light in your own self.
Congratulations, you've reached the end of the Enough-ism podcast. Show some love if you'd like by subscribing and leaving a review. If you wish to support the show, you can download the Enough-ism ebook, now available on Amazon, by visiting IamEnough-ism.com. Make a Venmo donation if you'd like at Enough-ism. Questions or comments? Want to be a guest on the show? Drop me a note at enoughisompodcast@gmail.com. I'm Reverend Eugen Bond. Remember, we are all enough just the way we are. See you next time.